Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a company that is making absolute waves in the retirement and precious metal space, GoldenCrest Metals. Look, if you've been looking into diversifying your retirement accounts with physical gold or silver, you have probably seen their name popping up literally everywhere lately. But as we all know, flashy press releases, they don't always equal a safe investment. So today, we are cutting straight through the hype. We're going to look at the hard data, the verified customer reviews, and, most importantly, the fine print to find out if GoldenCrest Metals is a legitimate, trustworthy choice for your hard-earned retirement funds or if it's all just slick marketing.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our objective review matrix for today. We'll cover 1. Exactly who GoldenCrest is, 2. Their pros and perks, 3. What you absolutely need to watch out for, 4. How they compare to the competition, and 5. Our final verdict.
So, Section 1. Who is GoldenCrest Metals? GoldenCrest Metals is headquartered in Calabasas, California, and they're led by CEO Rich Jacoby. Now, they're very new to the scene, which is super important context. Jacoby actually has a background in finance and trading, and he founded the company with a very specific mission: to bring what he calls an education-first approach to the precious metals industry. Basically, he wanted to build a company that stepped completely away from the traditional high-pressure sales tactics that have kind of plagued this space for years. They were only founded in late 2023. However, despite being the brand new kid on the block, they secured their Better Business Bureau accreditation by January 2024 with a really solid A rating. And since then, they've rapidly built an incredibly impressive footprint of 5-star ratings across major platforms like Trustpilot, Consumer Affairs, and the BBB. For a company that's less than a year old in our source data, maintaining a near-perfect rating across the board is definitely a strong signal.
A huge reason for all those glowing reviews comes right back to this concept of being an education-first dealer. Across dozens of reviews, customers consistently praise representatives, with names popping up like Charles, Ed, and even CEO Rich Jacoby himself for acting way more like patient educators than pushy salespeople. Reviewers highlight that they were actually given the time to read through free wealth protection guides, evaluate their options, and make decisions without feeling rushed. You know, in an industry where you're moving tens of thousands of dollars of your life savings, this low-pressure, supportive environment is emerging as a massive selling point for them.
Moving right along to Section 2, the pros and perks.
Now, what's really interesting here is just how lean and competitive their fee structure is, especially for that crucial first year. They waive the initial setup fees entirely. Boom, $0. They charge $0 for annual administration. Their custodial services are handled through the highly reputable Entrust Group for about $199 annually. And for secure storage at the Class 3 vaults of the Delaware Depository, which, by the way, is fully insured by Lloyd's of London, you're looking at a flat $100 or 0.5% annually. Add in a seamless, no-hassle buyback program for when you eventually want to liquidate or take a distribution, and honestly, it's a very compelling package.
But the real aggressive perks come into play when you look at their tiered promotional offers. This is where it gets fun. If you open a $25,000 IRA, you get your first year of storage completely free. Step up to a $50,000 account, that jumps to 2 years. And if you're rolling over $100,000 or more, you can get up to 3, and in some promotional tiers, even 5 years of completely waived storage and maintenance fees. On top of that, they run promotions offering up to $25,000 in free silver rebates depending on your purchase size.
But let's pause right here, because navigating these minimums, these fee waivers, and these massive silver rebates can be pretty tricky. It requires some real strategy, especially if you have a significant nest egg and you want to ensure you're structuring things perfectly to maximize those years of free storage.
Really quick, that's exactly why, if you're an American retiree with $100,000 or more sitting in an IRA or 401k, you need to get our free Gold IRA guide today. It's totally free, it's essential reading, and it'll help you navigate all these perks before you make a move. Go grab it. All right, back to the review.
Let's move to Section 3, what to watch out for.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we need to focus on next. A user in a precious metals Reddit community posted this quote after diving deep into the industry. They noted that an education-first pitch is nice, right? But true education means understanding the spread, the storage options, and the liquidation process. You can't just trust listicles that rank a company as number 1. You literally have to demand the actual math. So let's look at the math and the potential friction points for GoldenCrest. First up, they require a strict $25,000 minimum for IRA accounts. If you don't have that, well, you're locked out. Second, and this is a major complaint for some online users, there is no transparent product pricing on their website. Because precious metals are volatile, GoldenCrest requires you to actually get on a phone call with a representative for real-time item quotes. While that's pretty common in the industry, it definitely creates friction if you just want to casually browse prices online. Third, their track record is literally less than a year old. They just haven't weathered decades of market cycles yet. And finally, you have to watch out for rogue marketing. For instance, a Reddit user discovered a radio host named Kenny Michaels falsely claiming on air that GoldenCrest was Bloomberg's top preferred partner. A quick call to Bloomberg proved that was entirely false advertising by the affiliate. The takeaway? You always have to verify.
Section 4. Comparing the competition.
Let's see how this builds when we stack GoldenCrest up against the established heavyweights. When comparing the numbers side by side, the contrasts are super clear. GoldenCrest is the absolute newcomer at under 1 year in business. Compare that to Augusta Precious Metals with 12 years, or Goldco with over 15 years of proven, cycle-tested stability. However, Augusta demands a pretty steep $50,000 minimum. GoldenCrest matches Goldco at $25,000, placing them right in the middle of the pack. But if you're a smaller investor, Noble Gold offers a much lower barrier to entry at just a $2,000 minimum. So, GoldenCrest wins on aggressive fee waivers, for sure, but the competitors undeniably win on long-term historical track records.
Now, regardless of whether you choose the newcomer or the veteran, if you decide to proceed, the rollover process is remarkably similar across the board and usually takes about 2 weeks. First, you download their wealth guide to learn the basics. Second, you have an initial phone consultation to discuss your specific portfolio. Third, the company coordinates with a custodian to set up your new self-directed IRA. Fourth, you lock in your real-time metal selection. And fifth, those metals are shipped directly to a secure depository like Delaware Depository for safekeeping. It's honestly a very streamlined white glove process.
Which brings us to Section 5, the final verdict.
So the crucial point is this. GoldenCrest Metals is best for investors who meet that $25,000 minimum and who highly value a patient, education-first approach. If you want a guided setup with an actual human being, and you want to take advantage of incredibly generous fee waivers for your first few years, they are a fantastic, highly rated option. However, you should absolutely skip them if you despise getting on the phone and demand instant online pricing, or if your absolute primary requirement for your retirement funds is a company with decades of proven, recession-tested history.
At the end of the day, the decision rests entirely on your personal financial goals, but you cannot make an informed choice in a vacuum. If you are an American retiree with $100,000 or more in an IRA, 401k, or other retirement account, you need to take action today to secure your legacy. Claim your free Gold IRA guide right now. This guide is specifically designed to help high-net-worth retirees understand the exact math, the hidden fees, and the strategic advantages of adding physical precious metals to their portfolios.
The tools for understanding this market are right there for the taking. The only question left is this. When it comes to your life savings, will you just rely on flashy online listicles and radio marketing, or will you demand the hard numbers and educate yourself to truly protect your legacy? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy learning.